name is Jacob Begley. I killed this deer in 2020. I've been hunting with my dad since I was probably 5 years old. I remember I'd go with him. We'd go in a blind when I was that young. I kind of just bring a quilt and I'd lay down and go to sleep. And once the deer started coming in, he'd wake me up. And I just like watching the deer at that time. And I was probably 11 or 12. I remember my dad, he would take me and we'd both be in the truck together and he'd give me a walkie-talkie and he'd keep a walkie-talkie. We had a big double man not far from my papa's farm. He would watch me go out to the end of the field and climb up in the double man. I had a safety harness I'd wear. And once I got that safety harness wrapped around the tree, I just give him a call on the walkie-talkie and tell him everything was good. Then he would go back to the cabin and wait till it got dark and come back and pick me up. So I've always had a great passion for the outdoors, whether it be deer hunting, turkey hunting, any kind of hunting really. But this thing, he's got me into it even more, even though I really loved it in the past. But I don't know, I'm wanting to kind of see what I can do with it. I met a lot of people after I killed this big deer. It's kind of opened my thoughts up to see what I can do. But we'll start from the beginning on this deer. The first year I had pictures of this deer was 2019. It was actually on a farm that I just had started hunting. End of 2018 is the first year that I put a camera on that farm. I had some good deer, so I thought, I'll try it again in 2019 and see what happens. 2019 rolled around. I put cameras out early August, and I had a good 10-pointer start showing up. Not this deer, a different deer, probably a 170-inch 10-pointer, and he was coming in almost every day, and I thought I was going to get to kill him, but all of a sudden he disappeared, and I kind of lost hope at that spot, but I left my camera out. And this deer showed up. He would come in about once every 2 weeks, and I really couldn't pattern him because I knew right where he was bedding, but I had my camera as close as I wanted to get to him because I was right next to his bed and I didn't really want to bump him anymore. So I just left the camera where it was and let it be, and this deer kept coming in once every 2 weeks, and it was dark almost every time. The only time I seen him on the hoof in 2019 was I was bow hunting. I was kind of down in a little valley right between two soybean fields, and this deer came out about 15 minutes before the last shooting light and just stayed up in that bean field, and that was the last time I seen him on the hoof. But in 2019 I had pictures of him all the way until the end of the season, so I knew he should have made it. So 2020 rolls around and I put 2 cameras on the farm. In early August again, I didn't have pictures of a buck over 130, and I left the cameras out till probably the end of September, and still didn't have any more deer. So I kind of lost hope at that farm, and I started actually hunting a different farm a little bit closer to home, and I found a decent 10-pointer there, about a 160-inch 10-pointer that I started to pattern pretty good, and I actually had to go to Bowling Green once that deer started coming in quite a bit, and I took my hunting stuff with me because I knew that deer had been coming in the mornings, and it seemed like once he started coming in the mornings, then he would come in the evenings as well, and I didn't really want to hunt that spot in the morning. So once he started coming in the evenings, then I felt like I was in a good spot to hunt it. And once we get to Bowling Green, I was supposed to watch my brother at the state golf tournament, and that deer shows up that morning as soon as we got down there. And he also showed up that evening. And the next day was when my brother started his tournament, and I was with my mom, and I told my mom, I said, if this deer comes in the morning, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go back and hunt that deer. She was okay with it. She knew how much I like to hunt, stuff like that. And as it been, that deer come in that morning, so I head back that evening. I had to stop at Cabela's and grab some stuff. I forgot some clothes, but I had my bow and everything like that. So I got in there that evening, got in there around 3, so I was pretty early, and there was actually baling hay probably 250 yards from where I had the deer coming in at, so I kind of didn't think there was going to be much activity that evening. But as soon as they quit baling hay around 5 o'clock, I had does started coming in. Then about 30 or 45 minutes before the last shooting light, I actually had an 8-pointer that stayed with the 10-pointer come in. So I was kind of looking around, and that 10-pointer I was hunting had a big white rack that stood out quite a bit. And I caught a glimpse of his rack down in the thicket that I was hunting. So I waited a few minutes, and that deer actually come in the corn pile, and I shot at him at 20 yards, and somehow I completely missed him. But the deer didn't know what happened. He trotted off about 15 or 20 yards, And I was actually able to get another arrow, and I shot him. I heard a loud clank whenever I hit him. I kind of figured it was the shoulder that I hit, but I wasn't 100% sure, so I kind of got down, called my dad, called a few of my buddies, and we decided we was gonna go look, see if we could find blood that night. We found quite a bit of blood, but we didn't go farther than 100 yards because it wasn't really enough to bump him, you know. So we decided to wait, and me and my cousin went back the next morning, and we tracked blood probably 350 yards, and the deer actually came to a fence. And once he came to that fence, he turned back around and went down the hill. So I kind of got worried, lost hope. I thought that deer had died, and we just wasn't able to find it. I actually had a drone. I got a drone, and I went up there a few times and flew it around trying to find that deer because I thought for sure he was dead. I didn't have any pictures of him. And at that time, I kind of thought I would go put a camera out on another property where this deer was. And this deer is the first deer I get a picture of that evening. And that evening, it was November the 12th, 2 days before rifle season. So I kind of, I had one picture of him, it's blurry. I just could tell he had a lot of junk. I knew it was a big deer, but I wasn't really sure how big he was. But that next morning, Friday morning, I got my tree stands and my ladder, and I went up there to that property, and that was the day before rifle season. So I took a bow, hung all my tree stands, hung stuff like that, and I hunted that evening, didn't see a deer at all. Then my buddy actually calls me on the way back, and he said he seen a big deer on another piece of property that I actually hunted. So that night I debated about the piece of property I was gonna hunt opening day rifle season. I ended up picking the piece of property that this deer was on. And I get up there and I had my bow in my back seat, and I actually had my rifle with me too. But I left my bow rope to pull my bow up with, and I didn't have a sling on my rifle. So I knew I couldn't get my bow and my rifle, and where I was hunting the field, I didn't really want to take a bow in case that deer was come 200 yards or something out. I wouldn't be able to shoot him with a bow, so I ended up taking a rifle. And I hadn't been sitting there probably 30 minutes after shooting light. I catch a glimpse in the corner of my right eye in the thicket, and I look over, and it's this deer standing there. He's looking straight up at me because he pinpointed right where I was, because the trees I was hunting up there, real small trees, and any little movement, the whole tree would shake. I probably 16 foot off the ground max. So I look, and that deer's looking straight at me. And I actually had my rifle laying on my bow hanger, so I had the trigger like wrapped around I had the bow hanger wrapped around the trigger guard. And I went to pull my rifle off the bow hanger, and it's kind of hung. And I knew that deer was getting nervous because I was looking back and forth at the deer and my rifle. I was trying to ease it off there, and that deer kept kind of turning back to the thicket that he came out of. So finally, I just tugged my rifle as hard as I could, and then it popped off. And by that time, that deer had kind of moved back to the thicket, and I was able to get a shot in him. Hit him a little bit high, but he didn't make it another 10 yards, and I was able to get another bullet in him, and he dropped right there. And I still didn't know how big he was until I got down and out of the tree. I went down there and looked at him. I was totally shocked. Called my dad, called all my buddies. I actually called my dad, and Dad's like, "You think you can load him up in the truck by yourself?" I hadn't seen any pictures of it. And I said, "I don't know, Dad. You might want to come help me pick this one up." So he gets up there, him and Jason Roberts, my other buddy. He got up there, and both of them didn't know what to think. They was pumped. So we get back to the house, and by that time, everyone already figured out that I killed a big deer. So by the time we get back, everyone's here, congratulate me and stuff like that. But me and my partner, Cody Likens, we actually entered a hunting contest. It's called Quest Hunt Co. And after I killed that deer, all we needed was like a 130-inch deer to win the whole contest. And first place won 2 Polaris Rangers. So after I killed a deer, he's kind of got some pressure on him. And that 10-pointer that I actually shot in October, it started coming back in. And we decided to hunt it. We probably hunted for 2 weeks straight hunting that deer because we had him on camera a lot, but every time we hunted one stand, he would come in the other spot and stuff like that. But it finally happened. I think we had like 9 days left in season. That deer came in, Cody's able to kill him. And I think it put us up like 40 inches with maybe 8 days left in the season. So we were feeling pretty good about ourselves. And we get a call after season goes out. We won the contest, but we have to go to Missouri to pick up the Flash Rangers and go to the banquet and stuff like that. So end of February, we go down to Missouri to the banquet, and they got like 9 states in the contest. And every state, all the top 10 participants bring their deer, and they'd have them laid out on tables and stuff like that. You could see all the racks, and we actually got to look at it like a 250-inch deer. And just Heartland Bow Hunter was there. We got to talk to all kinds of celebrities and stuff like that, and it was just a fun trip. And I don't know, I was blessed to kill this deer. I like to thank the Lord especially, but through this deer I've met a lot of great people, and I'm just gonna see what I can do with it in years to come.
Wow, what an incredible animal. If you're new to this channel, my name is Jeremy, and I just wanted to say thank you for stopping by, and thank you for clicking on this video. It means the world that you would watch it. I also wanted to take this time just to say thank you to Jacob for allowing us to document this story. And it's, like I said, it's just a remarkable buck, and we're so glad that we could to go over and interview him and get some pictures and things like that. And so again, thank you to him and his family for allowing us to be a part of that. And if you're new to this channel, like I was saying, Live Hunting Company exists for several reasons. Obviously, we have a hunting channel, we have a YouTube page, we have social media and all that good stuff. But our goal here is to really to capture memories and to tell stories and to document our journey along the way. We do all kinds of different things, from turkey hunting to elk hunting to deer hunting. We're getting ready to embark on our annual elk hunting trip out west here next week. And then, of course, we got a fully loaded deer season here in Kentucky. The opener is actually, when you see this, it'll be tomorrow, Saturday, September the 4th. And so we're just super excited about this fall and all that's to come. If you like this video, I'd encourage you to stick around and check out some of our other videos. If you would do us a favor, please subscribe and click the bell for notifications. It really does help us and to grow our channel and push us a little bit further. It means the absolute world. But yeah, we hope you enjoy the content. We got lots of stuff on there. You'll learn a lot of things, hopefully, maybe some things not to do, and get a laugh while you're here. So again, thank you so much for stopping by. Thank you for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.